really good to see essentially an international alliance formed about how to deal with China's outrageous behavior. Although the 1961 Convention on diplomatic protocol, that's more than enough. In the end, I think he will be kicked out. I personally wish it would happen a whole lot sooner.
The CCP seems to be gearing up to essentially, when he gets kicked out, start essentially a campaign against Japan. I would imagine it would be similar to what they've done to Japan in the past and South Korea in the past to try to make them knuckle under. How do you think the current Japanese administration would react to that?
You said start. I think you mean increase or enhance or something like that, because they're always at war with Japan. But yeah, it certainly a boycott of Japanese goods, the destruction of Japanese property in China, the potential for physical harassment, murder of Japanese citizens in China. They'll probably go all out as they usually do. That I can easily see. Takaichi is unlike most or all of her predecessors. She's very well grounded, and she won't budge. I don't think she has overwhelming support of the Japanese public. And there are going to be people who are going to, get weak-kneed over this. But I think there's a new generation of Japanese, and I think there's a new sheriff in town, and they're not easily going to tolerate, China's, behavior. I think the ultimate solution, and this is true of the States as well, is that both Japan and us, as well as Taiwan. I just spent the past year in Taiwan. The three of us, three countries, need to, decouple ourselves, certainly economically, from China. If we don't do that, China's always going to have leverage over, all three countries, and especially Japan. So it's imperative that Japan, decouples its economy from China's.
Do you see signs that Japan is moving towards that?
It actually started some time ago, but I think it's going to really pick up speed now. And if you look at the agreements reached between President Trump and Prime Minister Takaichi, about supply chains and rare earth materials and whatnot, I think there's a greater effort in that direction. Also, I think Takaichi is going to increasingly get the support of the business community in Japan, because I think they're finally waking up to, the dangers that China represents, particularly the bullying and the ability to hold countries and companies hostage to their whims. And I think they're increasingly seeing China as unstable politically, socially, economically, certainly diplomatically. So I don't think it's going to be immediate. It'll be gradual, but I think the dial may be, picking up speed.
Well, I wonder if, any retaliation by the CCP, like Shelley is suggesting that they're gearing up for, another hard line, if that's going to backfire, because Takaichi, maybe even more than Abe, has been talking about how if the CCP attacks Taiwan, that's an existential crisis for Japan. And I think at this point, it's getting harder and harder for people like in the Komeito to argue that, we have to play nice, otherwise we will be dragged into a war we don't want. I think it's becoming clearer that like the war they don't want is coming one way or another. It's just, is Japan going to be strong? And that is kind of the zeitgeist at the moment in Japan, like a strong Japan.
I think, as in Taiwan, also in Japan, I think there's a reluctance to truly confront the question about whether there's going to be a Taiwan contingency. I'm in the school that that there will be, and that it's going to come sooner rather than later. But I don't think everybody, you know, sees that. Certainly, few people want that, but but this would be yet another example. If China were to increase its degree of bullying towards Taiwan, it would scare some people in Japan, but it would further solidify the recognition that Taiwan's in danger. Japan is the immediate neighbor and is the one that's going to be most affected by it. Therefore, Japan needs to do more, for Taiwan. This was one of the recommendations I wrote to Takaichi before her meeting with Trump. I wanted her to kind of commit more to Taiwan's defense, preempt Trump and tell him about that. So I'm not privy to what exactly was communicated, but there's a lot more that Japan, needs to do. Also, the US needs to do, Taiwan needs to do, all three countries need to do. First and foremost is Japan needs its own Taiwan Relations Act, and it still doesn't have that yet.
What is Japan's diplomatic relationship with Taiwan at the moment? Is it like the U.S.?
Yes and no. It models the relationship, as with the U.S. So it has a representative in Taiwan, an embassy, but it's not called an embassy. It's essentially an association. The person assigned to it, in this particular case, Mr. Katayama, he's full-fledged ambassador. There is a great deal of mutual respect, friendship, admiration, economic exchange, people-to-people exchange, but there's very, 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 very little mill-to-mill interaction. And anything that actually happens is usually done in civilian clothes and done, under the radar, so to speak. So the open mill-to-mill relationship they don't have. So they're further behind the U.S., on that score. Plus, as I alluded to, they don't have a Taiwan Relations Act either.
There's a lot more of this hour-long podcast to watch. Just click below to see it at ChinaUncensored.tv. When you join us there, you can be part of my exclusive China Uncensored 50 Cent Army, where we stand up to the CCP together. The link is below.